Taking a course in the schools about television? You bet. Sam Robards is here to tell us about TV 101, and it's one-on-one, too, because this is hands-on training with the students.
Right.
Is there a role model for this course that the writers have used?
Yeah, I think there was a guy who was a friend of Carl Schaefer, who's the head writer and executive producer on this, that he knew that is very similar to this guy.
I think this is a kind of course that everybody will wish they could have had somewhere.
Let's hope so, yeah. Right.
Back in high school. You know, it's not been so long since Senator Proxmire was delivering Golden Fleece Awards to schools that sponsored television classrooms. Why, in your own opinion, and if I'm not leading you too much with this, do you think this is an important kind of school curriculum?
Well,
would you have liked to have had one yourself as a student, if we could put it that way?
Yeah, I would have. Yeah, I would have. I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily crucial to, to high school, but I mean, it certainly helps you learn about what goes on and how they make news and like how much power that they have to make the news.
You have to display a lot of expertise with the camera itself.
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Well, no. I mean, I'm not well versed in video cameras, so.
Seems to be intentional. The show keeps us off balance. Sometimes it's on film. Sometimes we're looking at video images.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I think that's good if you are kept off balance.
Does this add something to the production complexities?
Yeah, it's a nightmare. There was one scene in there where there was literally like a half-hour discussion about what was going on because it was virtually, they were shooting into a monitor and I was filming and it was almost like they were shooting into a mirror. It was so, so we had to work out this whole thing. But yeah, it's very complex.
Tell us about your role as the teacher. Who are you and what is your idea coming into this school?
Well, I play Kevin Keegan, recently divorced with a young daughter who comes back to school with the idea of changing the student newspaper instead of just having the same newspaper, to try something different, video class. And my original idea was to use the school to broadcast. However, the principal is not too happy about that and disagrees, and so we have to go to an alternate source, which is a public access television station, and broadcast from there.
What's been going on in terms of marketing this show? Are you aware of any special involvements with school curriculums around the country and the network itself, CBS?
Not that I know. This is the first one of these things I've done, so I'm not real sure what they're doing.
So I guess I feel like this is a cutting-edge program.
I guess, yeah.
It could spawn, what a word.
Spawn, yes.
It could spawn a whole host of imitators. What do you think?
It could. Who knows? We'll see.
How about your own background? The name Robards sure sounds familiar.
Yeah, it might. To some they might not know or care.
Well, is there indeed a Sam or a Jason Robards in your life?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, he's my dad.
Yeah. And his father was an actor?
Yes, he was.
Does this mean that with several generations going into it, that maybe there was some extra pressure on you one way or the other?
No. I mean, if there's any pressure, that's what people do with it. There's no pressure that I put on myself or they put on me, Maybe other people outside put pressure on me, but that's what they did with it.
I could see why you would want this role. I think it's a dandy role, but why did they choose you? Why did the producers see in you that character?
I don't know. I had a hard time convincing them. I read for 7 times for this thing. It almost got to the point where I just was like, I don't even know if I want to do this. After the 5th time reading.
One thing about the show that I think is very striking is that it takes on issues in a kind of a not naive way, but the show has its heart on its sleeve. I think it's a sweet program in that respect. Do you think that's going to help it or hinder it, or do shows have to be real cynical and hip?
I don't know. I just hope that we can, as long as we're based in reality, I think whether we're cynical or not, it will work, as long as it's based in reality.
The television process helps at least one student in the pilot solve some personal problems. Is this going to be the kind of thing we can expect to see where each of these children in your charge? Yeah,
hopefully, that they, or at least that will, help them answer some questions. I mean, there's no way that it's going to provide the correct answer, because there are many different answers to many different questions. So, but at least it will, facilitate that.
Finally, do you think television has already pervaded our lives enough that we need to get it into the high schools like this, or do you think it's a good idea, just from your own perspective?
Well, there's a lot of TV.
Yeah.
You're right, there's a lot of TV. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know.
And by trying to understand it, do we just end up emphasizing it all the more? When do you tell the difference, right?
Yeah.
TV 101.
Thank you.
Sam Robards.
Thank you.
It's an exciting new series here on CBS, and we're both in Redondo Beach. I'm John Tibbetts for KCTV5.